Why is belly fat always the last fat to go? If it's not thousands of crunches, and if it's not just cutting carbs, then what is actually stopping you from losing that belly fat? Well, in this video, I'm breaking down and I'm ranking the 5 real reasons that your body holds on to that belly fat. And I'm doing it with the help of some of YouTube's top fitness experts. So you can finally strip away that stubborn belly fat and get lean without the gym bro routine. Now we've got the anatomy lab and we're going inside a real body. And we're ranking these takes from all the way at the bottom, that gym bro noise tier, to all the way to the top, the undeniable winners. So you know exactly what works and what does not. Now trust me, once you see this, you'll never look at belly fat the same way again.
So this would be the fat surrounding the organs. Here's the abdominal cavity, up here's the thoracic cavity where you'd find the heart and lungs.
Now, most people, they only focus on what's covering their abs, the subcutaneous fat layer. But beneath that, these thick layers of visceral fats, they give us that firm protruding belly. And here's how much that can actually build up.
Now this particular body, or this dissection, is actually a little bit more tricky to make out specific structures and organs. And that's because it has such a buildup of this visceral fat. You can see these thicker fatty appendages coming off the intestine and that buildup of visceral fat in between. What's even more remarkable is the amount of visceral fat around the heart. Yes, the heart is inside here.
Yes, that is visceral fat wrapped around this guy's heart. And this fat is not just sitting there passively. Visceral fat like this is actively making everything worse. One, it's a hormonal disaster, elevating cortisol and lowering testosterone, which then fuels even more cortisol and even more testosterone suppression, trapping you in this never-ending loop. 2, visceral fat worsens insulin resistance. Visceral fat releases these pro-inflammatory cytokines like IL-6 and TNF-alpha, and these make your body more insulin resistant. And this hormone disruption and insulin resistance combo, it makes it even harder to lose fat without sacrificing muscle. And it keeps you stuck in this cycle of packing on more belly fat, or just looking skinny fat when you try and lean down. So what is the best way to burn visceral fat? Well, a massive review of 35 studies found that resistance training actually does nothing for visceral fat. So what actually works? Well, this study showed it clear as day. Simply put, the more low intensity cardio you do, the more visceral fat that you burn. And why? Visceral fat, it does not just come from eating too much. It builds up from a high stress and poor diet combination. So the best way to systematically de-stress your body and burn fat at the same time is get outside and walk at a decent pace. This oxygenates your whole body. It gets your lymph fluid moving and you soak in some sunlight. Plus, put your phone away when you're walking outside. Shifting your focus off screens to further away objects and peripheral vision, it calms your brain. Losing visceral fat, it is not just about shrinking your belly. It's about getting healthier too. And the healthier you are, the easier it is to get lean. So when it comes to walking off visceral fat, this one belongs right in the undeniable winner tier. Now we've got Jeremy Ether, and he's coming for our biggest insecurity.
Everyone wants to lose that stubborn belly fat.
Told you, brutal. But Jeremy is not just here to roast us. He's actually got a new angle on burning belly fat.
According to a new study, targeting belly fat may not only be possible, but also much easier than we all thought.
We all know you cannot crunch your way to a six-pack. That's pure 90s gym bro nonsense. So what's the real scoop here? Well, the theory is that belly fat has poor blood flow. So more blood flow equals more fat mobilization in that area. So if we hit our abs first with crunches, there's a ton of blood flow around our belly. Then we immediately do cardio to burn this mobilized fat. So instant belly fat loss, right? Well, one study had participants do 5,000 sit-ups in 27 days. That is a brutal amount of belly fat area blood flow. And guess what? Zero belly fat loss. However, the new study that Jeremy is referring to, Group 1, they ran for 45 minutes on the treadmill. And Group 2, they ran for 27 minutes. But Group 2 also did a core workout to ensure they burned the same total calories as Group 1. And the results? Both groups, they lost the same amount of weight. Not shocking because they burned the same number of calories. But Group 2, the abs and cardio group, actually lost 2.5 pounds more from their belly. Whereas Group 1, the treadmill only group, lost more fat from their legs. So is belly fat spot reduction actually real?
So if I was designing a routine to better target belly fat, I'd use direct, weighted abs exercises combined with low to moderate intensity cardio, which could look something like this. I'll be honest though, I'm still not 100% convinced.
I'm with Jeremy, not convinced. Where were these results for the millions of people crunching their way to abs and failing miserably? Sure, maybe this works for a tiny percentage of people, but for most, completely unpredictable. Some guys lose fat from their face first, while others still rocking a gut while their arms and legs get super lean. Maybe, just maybe, this could shave a couple of weeks off seeing abs, but realistically, probably not. Which is why this new research on belly fat spot reduction has got to land firmly in the hit or miss tier. And if you're struggling to get lean or feeling frustrated with your lack of results, my one-on-one coaching is now open for 2025. And to find out more, just hit the link below to message me directly. And let's chat about how I can help you get in the best shape of your life without the gym bro routine. Now we've got Dr. Oz, so you know we're about to get some gold. So what's different about belly fat, Doc?
There's the belly fat, which I want you to put in your hands if you don't mind. Just show it to everybody. And then there's the other kind of fat in your body. Okay, now keep holding that for a second. And look at this fat that I've got, okay? Now this is the fat that's in your thighs, behind your arms, under your chin. This is the other fat, that's the belly fat.
So Dr. Oz is saying belly fat has a different texture or structure. But what is his actual point?
It's actually your most liquid asset, that stomach fat. It's supposed to be able to, lift it up, science mouth, hold me. Belly fat, watch what happens. It gently, ooh.
All those blobs
come pouring out. Now let me show you what happens with my fat. I did the same thing.
Okay.
Nada. Whoa.
So sure, we know this is just TV magic, but what are the TV doctors actually getting at?
In general, we actually always thought that fat was sort of equally stubborn.
Right.
The belly fat is particularly able to be a liquid asset.
And there it is. They're trying to demystify the myth that belly fat is more stubborn, so people don't get discouraged when their arms get leaner, but their belly stays right where it is. And whilst that's a nice message to hear, unfortunately, belly fat is actually harder to lose. You see, even though stubborn belly fat is an overused term, belly fat is actually the last bit of fat to go. And why? Because your body's fat cells, they have two different types of receptors. The first type, they're alpha receptors. These receptors tell your body to store fat rather than burn it. And the second type, they're beta receptors. And these receptors, they do the opposite. They actually encourage fat to be burned for energy. But guess what? The fat around your midsection is coated in alpha receptors. And there's a reason for that. For men, our body, it wants to protect our vital organs. It does not care if you have a visible six-pack. But here's the main point. It doesn't matter anyway. Because at the end of the day, you still need to reduce total body fat to look lean and defined. So even though Dr. Oz is kind of right, fat does vary across your body. Don't treat belly fat like it's a unique specimen. Just get leaner overall and it will disappear. And that's why treating belly fat as some special unique problem when trying to get lean is going straight into the gym bro noise tier. Now we've got one of the goal guys, Cam, and he's getting lean again. He's tried before and he's failed before. So what's different this time?
Man has me doing 3 sets of band-assisted pull-ups, which I am supposed to take to pretty much failure. On top of that, he has me doing 2 sets of negatives, which I don't know if you've done that many pull-ups, but those negatives, dude, are brutal.
Well, first off, he's not drowning in gym bro training volume, but he is using intensity techniques to keep his workout short. And those pulled negatives, they're a secret weapon. Because when your muscles are spent and you cannot pull yourself back up, jump back up and just control the descent. And squeeze out every last drop that your muscles can give. No wasted sets, just targeted intensity. But what about food?
Moment of truth. No way. Bro, what the heck? This right here is an absolute game changer.
That is the secret sauce. Cam is not trying to chug down disgusting food like tuna protein shakes like Marcus Rule did. Instead, smarter, not harder or fishier. Simple food swaps, not a complete gym bro overhaul. Making getting lean feel automatic, not miserable. And here's just 2 quick ideas that I love for this. Option 1, a giant protein-packed McMuffin with 32 grams of protein for under 350 calories. Or option 2, a stack of protein pancakes for just 300 calories and 26 grams of protein. And you can grab these recipes and 18 more down at the link below. So how did this approach help Cam's transformation? Well, see for yourself. And this is because he made it about realistic lifestyle changes. But here's where most people, they screw it up. They simply copy and paste what others do and they think they should do this too, instead of figuring out what actually works for them. Yes, of course you need a workout routine. And yes, you need a nutrition plan. But you also need to find out what fits your life. And that is where most people fail. But it is not complicated. I usually find that my clients fall into one of 2 categories. Client type 1, the planner. They need structure. They track everything and meticulously map out every workout progression, all while following a detailed daily supplement protocol. They just thrive on routine. Or client type 2, the flexible one. They hate rigid plans. They need a matrix style plan with a bunch of flexible options that still get them to the same endpoint. And they simply adjust based on schedule, mood, or energy. The core principles stay the same. Habit and lifestyle changes. Not suffering through 2-hour gym sessions and dry chicken and soggy broccoli Tupperware depression. And that's why this habit-based lifestyle approach has got to go in the strong contender tier. Just make sure that you personalize it to you. And if you're new here, my name is Tim. I'm a food scientist and personal trainer, now based in Austin, Texas. I specialize in helping guys hit 10 to 15% body fat without letting fitness take over their life. So if you're looking to get fit, look fit, and still have a life outside of the gym, you're in the right place. Now, this channel, it might be small, but I appreciate every single subscriber. And as a thank you for subscribing, I want to do what I'm best at, which is personally help you dial in your fitness plan so you get the results that you're looking for. So hit subscribe and then email me with the words "I'm subscribed" to the email you can see on screen. And I'll send you my Anti-Gym Bro toolkit packed with all the tips and hacks you need to get lean fast. Plus, if you tell me a little bit about your fitness goals in that email, I'll personally help you tweak your plan so you're set up for success. Now it's my turn, and I've got a strategy to use testosterone to get rid of that belly fat. Did you know the more belly fat you have, the more estrogen you produce? And that's because belly fat produces more of the aromatase enzyme. And aromatase, it grabs hold of your testosterone and it turns it into estrogen. And this is why belly fat is such a trap. Because the more belly fat you have, the more aromatase you produce and the harder it is to get leaner. So here's the 3-step plan to stop the cycle and take care of our testosterone. Step 1, zero alcohol. Alcohol is one of the worst things for testosterone. It directly lowers testosterone by suppressing testicular function and increasing estrogen. Step 2, ditch all the processed foods. Processed foods, they're loaded with compounds that disrupt your hormones. From hydrogenated oils, to BPA, to phthalates. Processed foods, they just wreck your hormone balance. And step 3, dial in your nighttime sleep routine. This is the most reliable way I've seen clients boost testosterone. And once you dial in the usual tips like control the room temperature to 65 degrees or lower, and get rid of all lights with blackout blinds, the number one most impactful change that most people do not know is pushing your last meal back at least 3 hours before bed. Because eating too close to bedtime, it spikes your resting heart rate and it wrecks deep sleep. And this is what crushes nighttime testosterone production. Because deep sleep is peak testosterone time. Breaking that belly fat to estrogen to lower testosterone cycle, it's key to getting your body in the right position to finally get lean. But it takes serious lifestyle intervention to make it happen. So you might find yourself on and off the wagon struggling to stay consistent. And that's exactly why this has got to land in the use with caution tier. And for more coaching tips, watch my video here.